Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 9th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We did the extra overtime day at work. Overall, that went well. Let's see. It was pretty slow. Like, even though it's like, yeah, we're here to work, yada, yada, yada. But, more or less just, I think I felt like I had an average of 3 buggies in my, like, queue all day. So that felt good. That felt nice. And then what do we really do? I listened. I actually got to catch up on some book readings. That was nice. I'm reading this little fantasy book, part of a series. I talked about it way back when. It was definitely a series I should have canceled or stopped reading a long time ago. But I was just a sucker for the characters, and the story was just like it's one of those things. It's almost like a diner story, and what I mean by that is like this isn't like a high quality situation, but like it's just comfy cozy. And by the time I got to like the third book of it, I was like, I'm not stopping. I think I'm on book 7 or 8, something like that. So needless to say, I just did not put it down. So it was nice to catch up on that book. I don't feel like even naming it anyway. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, it was a good day. Where I definitely gotta talk about the donuts because we got good donuts. This is, if I really am honest, the best part about the OT is getting the free donuts because it's getting me back into a donut vibe. Honestly, they're free donuts, so let's go. Also, I guess shout out to Daylight Donuts. That's where we get our donuts catered from or whatever. They make like a big order and then they pick them up, or we pick them up, and then we just have at them. But let me talk about the score because we got the jackpot. This is the Isaiah special. This is the top 2 donuts that I want. We got the big, huge cinnamon roll. So score. That's our white whale. That's what we want every time. So getting that was a good secure. And then we got a blueberry glazed donut, which was just top tier, very yummy, very crumbly. So yeah, we were winning. And also it's worth noting too, I could have got the glazed chocolate vanilla bow tie. So it's like we were really just in a we were in embarrassment of riches. That's the words I'm looking for. So yeah, we love to see it. But let's talk food corner from last night. It got a little scranny a little bit. Um, I made the usual spicy chicken, Korean fried chicken with the white rice, and some egg rolls. But this is where we get a little weird. First off, I added a tortilla. I had one more left anyway. Where I got a big run I got to do at the grocery store, so we'll be stocking up on everything. So I figured, hey, let me throw that on there. I got egg rolls. We're throwing those on there, and then I said, you know what? I haven't had in a while. I haven't had like cheesy chicken. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I feel weird saying that, but yeah, sometimes and I've wanted this ever since I went to. I'm gonna give another shout out here. CM Chicken. I never got to have the cheese monster. I like because I'm such a spicy boy. I had to like pick the spicy options and all that, and I just haven't gone back and gotten the cheese monster option. But I mean, that is some chicken that I'm really like. Ooh, it's so good. It's so yummy. I'm now queuing that in my mental list to like go do like sometime in hopefully the near future. But that being said, I hadn't had some cheese on my chicken in a while. So you know what? I was like, let me add a little bit of shredded mozzarella on here. Okay, okay, okay. And then I got some nacho cheese and I went ahead and put that on there too. So I had a little bit of cheesy chicken action, a little bit of cheesy rice action. So I don't know. I really like when you get like an Asian like dish and you add some cheese to it. I feel like that's not very common. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, but I don't know. Every once in a while, I know I've like had some like cheesy ramen, and that's really good. But I often like save that as like a rare treat because I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. But then again, I say this as like you guys know the shit I eat on a daily basis. I'm like Victor Frankenstein the way I eat. I just be smashing shit together, just making an abomination after abomination with no care, with no recompense. You know what I mean? I'm the villain of the story. So who am I to speak? Anyway. that more or less catches us up on the blog. I had a really good workout, got really sweaty and whatnot. That was fun. That was good. Um, yeah. Also, I was thinking about that too. I think one of my 3 months in doing this over 3 months now. Like, can I officially be called a gym rat? Do I meet the specification? Have I crossed the threshold that like makes a gym rat? I feel like I have. I feel like I gotta be like one of those like mutated like Saturday night special character, Saturday morning specials. Like a street shark. You know what I mean? I'm like that. I want to be like that. But I'm not. I still don't. And this is just me getting a little too personal. But like with this whole thing, and I don't want to say this is on body dysmorphia or whatever, but like I've seen how much weight I've lost. I'm like, wow, I never pictured myself at this weight that I'm at. This is crazy. This is awesome. But like then I see everything and I'm like, but I'm so blobby. I'm so blah, and it's just like that sucks. Like, it sucks that like you see a number that's supposed to be like, yeah, that's successful. You made it. Like, if you had ever gotten to this number, you'd be doing the heel click thing. It'd be like the end, Finn. But like, I think also in your head, you thought that you were gonna look like Gaston or something at each of these intervals. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that it definitely takes time. And also, there's a realization too that that like certain kind of muscular displays, body builds, if you will, are not a certain kind of practical. You know what I mean? Especially for me, a guy who's not making the right dietary concessions. I want to eat what I want. Is part of this whole process, and why I work out so hard is so that I can eat the way that I want and like still make progress, still feel good about my body, and about how I'm like just living. I guess I don't know. There's just a certain kind of balance that I'm trying to hit for myself here. And I also realize though that like the thing I'm pining for, you're not willing to make those kind of sacrifices for. So I don't know. I'm just kind of having these thoughts out loud while I podcast. But anyway, let me go ahead and do the startup. Let's stop with all this yada 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 stuff, and let's get into some news. But yeah, let me go ahead and cue up this startup. Okie dokie. Mmm. Mmm. Okay. From the BBC. Germany engulfed by political crisis as Scholz coalition falls apart. So this story and also the next story are definitely some catch-up stories in the week. I definitely feel like I was very focused on the election coverage in America, and I was like, let's get through that. And then we got through that, and I like kind of was like, okay, it feels like there's like a mental news chaff grenade that's gone off in me, and I can't get cut through any noise. I don't even know what to do. So we did that. But anyway, now we are here, and I wanted to talk about some international shit that has been going on. While the world has been watching Washington, Germany is quietly going into a political meltdown. This is a very German crisis involving coalition infighting and complicated constitutional questions. But beyond the complex political wrangling, Europe's most powerful economy has been left rudderless at a time when economic growth has stalled and EU leaders are nervous about an impending Trump presidency. Chancellor Olaf Scholz fired Finance Minister Christian Lindner, or Lindner. We're gonna say Lindner. It's just easier for my old American tongue. The leader of one of the three coalition parties on Wednesday night. Two of Linder's three colleagues in cabinet promptly quit, effectively making or breaking apart the coalition government. So I was like, whoa, like that's pretty crazy. You don't usually hear a kind of shakeup like this. Apparently, they've like kind of gone to the brink over issues, with the economy and whether or not they could come to certain conclusions and compromises. But apparently, this was the last straw. And Scholz is like, look, dude, like, and apparently it was like, I guess in the German political scene, like it was pretty emotional or pretty like, wow, I can't believe he said this. But essentially he's like, yeah, this dude like broke my trust too many times. I just couldn't fuck with him. And they're like, okay, all right. So this now broke, this whole thing apart, and now Schultz has to work with the Conservative Party to try to get things done. And there's certain things that they're going to be able to find, common ground on, like in terms of like supporting Ukraine and a few other things. But overall, the other side wants your job, so they're only going to work with you so much. They're going to definitely make friction or go for their own things that benefit them. And, it doesn't look too good for Schultz, at least where he's at right now. Also, I love the thumbnail that I found for that, like the picture I have for him. He looks so grumpy. And I also was just like kind of combing through pictures, and he's just like, yeah, he's not having a great time right now. Let's see. I did want to, I guess, read my highlighted portion that I got here. Or at least a little bit before that too. Olaf Scholz, center-left Social Democrats and Greens want to use debt to modernize infrastructure, shift to environmental energy, and help industry, as well as Ukraine. But, excuse me, I'm sorry. It was a rough burp. But Christian Linder's free market liberal FDP is ideologically opposed to new borrowing, instead calling for lower taxes, cuts in social spending, and pushing back environmental targets. The crunch came in crisis talks this week when it became clear that both sides were irreconcilable. So essentially, everything just kind of came to a head, and now we are where we are at. Here's the quote I was kind of trying to reference, and I definitely butchered. He broke my trust too often, said the chancellor, accusing Linder of putting the short-term survival of his party over the welfare of the country. And this is where I feel like they editorialize too much here in this article. Such public vitriol from a chancellor about a minister and coalition partner is unprecedented in German politics. If this was the televised public statement, just imagine what the mood was like behind closed doors. And it's like, what? Like that just feels weird as a person who's, I'm not saying like I read so many articles, but you usually it's more sterilized than this, like even for like a non-NPR-esque thing or whatever. So I don't know, that was a little bit weird. They got a little zesty there, but I mean, hey, go off. I mean, thank you for letting me know this doesn't happen all the time. But also I think maybe I might be a little bit skewed or jaded here because once again, I'm an American. I'm just like, I see people like Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and I mean, run it back. I mean, there's so many sensationalized motherfuckers, I mean, I would hear a thing where a motherfucker went, Bia! One time, you know what I mean? So it gets crazy over here. I'm used to it being loud and bombastic. That did not sound loud. That sounded like a nice scene out of Godfather. Like I pictured that with like violins and stuff. It didn't seem that tenuous. But needless to say, apparently it's crazy over in Germany. It's political bedlam, and I just didn't get to it, and that's a mea culpa. Anyway, let's go ahead and move along. From The Guardian, more arrests expected in Amsterdam over violence on Israeli football fans. Amsterdam police expect to make more arrests after what authorities called hateful anti-Semitic violence against Israeli football fans, prosecutors said on Saturday. 4 suspects remain detained on Saturday on suspicion of violent acts. I don't know why I said it like that. Including 2 minors, and 40 people have been fined for public disturbance and 10 for offenses including vandalism, prosecutors said. Police said on Friday they had launched a major investigation into multiple violent incidents and that 5 were taken to hospital and 62 arrested. There was no evidence of kidnappings or hostage takings, but police were probing reports. I imagine they had to come out and say that because there's probably like just a slew of news, and some of it maybe people were saying, oh, they're kidnapping people on top of all this, and da 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 da. But let's continue. Apparently, the Dutch minister announced he had canceled his trip to COP29 climate summit due to the events. And I gotta say, I'm sure I should be making some asides to talk about COP29 Where are they going? Azerbaijan, dude. I don't think that that's gonna fucking matter. If I'm being real with y'all, if I hear anything of substance of relevant note, then of course I will talk. But we're just gonna keep kicking the can. Like, I mean, reading the room here. I mean, we just referenced this article. I mean, once again, just talking about Donald Trump in office. Drill, baby, drill. Do you really think that we are gonna do anything in the near future that's going to help us in climate change? I don't. And I got a little bit of a touching story that's going to tie back into climate change towards the end here, but I'll save that. That's technically dessert. But anyway, needless to say, we got the situation over some soccer. I believe it is Maccabi from Tel Aviv versus the Amsterdam Ajax. That was the soccer game, the football that took place. But yeah, let's see. Amsterdam's mayor, Femke Halsema, said men on scooters crisscrossed the city looking for Israeli football fans. It was a hit and run. I can easily understand that brings back memories of pogroms. Also, I think it was noted from like someone from Netanyahu's office or something that this was like, Benjamin Netanyahu's office described a planned anti-Semitic attack against Israeli citizens. And asked that protection for the Dutch Jewish community increased. He even compared the incident to Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, a Nazi terror campaign perpetrated on Germany's Jewish population in 1938, which an estimated 91 Jews were murdered. Tomorrow, 86 years ago, was Kristallnacht, an attack on Jews. Whatever Jews they are on European soil, it's back now. Yesterday, we celebrated it on the streets of Amsterdam. Apparently, that was maybe a reference, I guess, from The Office or something. But I do think that this is also worth noting that this is only one side of the conversation. I'm not entirely sure that these were planned, hidden run, like guerrilla style attacks that were meant to, be protrude as this. Also, this could just easily just be wanton football hooliganism on both sides of the conversation, especially when you have people saying like fuck Palestine on the other side. They're over there taking Palestinian flags and fucking doing God knows whatever with them. Like, at the end of the day here, this is fucked up on both sides. But I definitely feel like the coverage is like, oh my gosh, look at the anti-Semitism that is going on here. This is terrible. This is horrible. Let's stop traffic and talk about that part. When it's like, no, I think this is once again an example of football hooliganism, and I don't understand why people get so fucking amped up and crazy over sports. And it's also crazy that people will go, oh yeah, now is the time where I'm actually going to give a fuck about politics, is like when a soccer ball is involved. It's like, god damn it. And I'm going to be the worst person. I'm going to be an absolute brute, a demon about it. And it's like, no, maybe, I don't know, do some like good social activism and like, I don't know, try to like do diplomacy or something. No. I'm going to just get crazy. I'm hopping on the scooter and doing some crazy shit. Or once again, I'm just going to get rowdy and start snatching flags. And actually, I do want to read, I guess, one part. On Wednesday, Maccabi fans stole a Palestinian flag from a building in the city center and shouted, "Fuck you, Palestine." Ola said Maccabi supporters even vandalized a taxi. So once again here, and I'm just kind of glazing along here. There's definitely a lot of fucked up shit that gets said here. Once again, on both sides, it's not good. It's a bad day for football. Let's just say fucking that at very least. But also you're gonna see how this shit gets spun, one way or another. But there we go. Let me go ahead and move along to the next beat, the next bump. From The Guardian also as well. Bomb blast at Pakistan train station kills at least 24. At least 24 people have been killed and more than 40 injured in a bomb blast at a railway station in Quetta in southwestern Pakistan. Police and other officials have said the target was army personnel from the infantry school, said the Inspector General of Police of Balochistan, Muzam Jah Ansari. Let's see here. Many of the injured were in critical condition, he said. 24 people had died in Saturday's blast so far. Pakistan is grappling with a surge in strikes by separatist ethnic militants in the south and Islamist militants in its northwest. So far, 44 injured people have been brought to civil hospital. Dr. Wassim Baig, we're going to say Baig. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. Mea culpa, sorry. A hospital spokesman told Reuters. Oops, scrolling ahead. The blast appeared to have been a suicide bomb, said the senior superintendent of police operations, Muhammad Baloch. Or Balak. I'm going to say Balak. Investigations were underway for more information. The blast took place inside the railway station when Peshawar-bound express was about to leave for its destination. No group has claimed responsibility for the blast at Quetta's main railway station, which is usually busy early in the day. Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, not really too much to add. Obviously, it's an unfortunate situation. I know I haven't really talked too much out of any events out of Pakistan, at least as of lately. But yeah, I figured this came up and I figured, hey, let's go ahead and talk about that. But we're going to move on to our last story. It is a bit lighter, a bit more uplifting, hopefully, but at the same time, definitely still a bummer. So let me go ahead and take a last break. I'm going to take a full break. I got to get some water, and then, we'll close it out. We got to cool off, if you will. Ooh. Ooh wee. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Ooh. From CNN. Emperor penguin turns up on Australian beach, thousands of miles from home. An emperor penguin surprised locals when it appeared on a beach in Australia after making an epic journey of thousands of miles from its home in Antarctica. Sorry, I haven't said that word in a while. Antarctica. Brr. The penguin arrived on Ocean Beach in Denmark, Western Australia, on Friday, according to a statement from Australia's Department of Biodiversity, Conservation and Attractions, DBCA, sent to CNN on Wednesday. A spokesperson described the penguin as malnourished, adding that the animal remains in the care of a trained and registered local wildlife carer. So I just want to say here, just up top, that at least this is a wholesome story about a penguin that was fun. He looks so cute. I wonder what they named him. I don't even know what I would name a penguin that I found on the beach. You know what? This is corny, and only Pokemon fans would really know. Also, shout out to Pokemon Pocket. I've been playing that game. Like, now I have 3 card games I'm playing. That's like been like the little silver lining of these dark times is I'm playing a lot of card games, and that's fun. But anyway, I would name this Pokemon. Not this Pokemon. I'm giving the game away. I would name him Polian. That's what I would name this guy or gal. I feel like Polia. No, Polia doesn't work. That sounds like a disease. No, I don't know. But Polian if it's a boy. If it's not a boy, then whatever. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever it would be. I don't know. I would have to come up with maybe a different name. The rehabilitation process is expected to take a few weeks, said the spokesperson, who added that the wildlife care is supported by the DBCA officer. I don't know if they're going to try to like release the penguin back into the wild or not. But that being said, I mean, crazy that it wound up in the situation that it's just so far from home. You know what I mean? We're not talking about Spider-Man over here. But I guess it kind of rode currents and it just maybe got on the really wrong current. It's almost like it's just on the wrong highway, and it just sent him all the way. I don't know why I'm gendering this thing. It just sent this little guy just all the way down, and they wound up on Australian beach. And hold on, let me see if I have this quote highlighted. Let's see here. Local surfer Aaron Fowler told ABC that he saw the penguin emerging from the sea. It was massive. It was way bigger than a seabird, and we're like, what is that thing coming out of the water? And it kind of had a tail sticking out like a duck, Fowler said. It stood up in the waves and just waddled straight up to us. An emperor penguin. He was okay. Yeah, that's why I was gendering it, because I read it that way. He's a boy. I'm a dummy. He was probably about a meter high, and he was not shy at all. He added. He tried to do a little slide. This is the quote I really wanted to get to. It's so cute, but also very sad. He tried to do like a slide on his belly, thinking it was the snow, I guess, and it just face planted in the sand and stood up and shook off all the sand. Fowler said. Emperor penguins are the tallest and heaviest of 18 penguins. They can weigh up to 88 pounds or 40 kilograms and stand 45 inches, 1.1 meters tall. A female emperor lays one egg per breeding season, then passes it over to make her male partner to incubate while it forages for food for about 2 months. But yeah, I mean, just kind of closing out though with definitely the bitter part of the sweet here is it's obviously very unfortunate that climate change, because I mean there's really it's just a crazy freak incident. No, like sadly I get the feeling more types of these kind of stories are going to happen where you find desperate animals of that area that have had all their resources to themselves for a very long time, but now they've been diminished and diminished and diminished, and they have to go further out to find the things that they need. And it's very unfortunate, because I mean this is a good situation where you find a penguin and you're able to nurse it back to health and all that. But I mean there's going to be so many that aren't going to be able to make a miraculous journey like this, or going to potentially die on the way, or just so many just sad losses of life that never really had to happen had us humans not just been cranking and cranking and cranking just to do all this fucked up shit just to put fucking microplastics in our nuts. Like, you know what I mean? It's just blah. That part sucks. You know what I mean? We're all just getting fucked here. And the wheels, they're just going to keep running and running and running and running and running until they fall off. That's why going back to the COP 29, I think, like, who cares? And I love how, too, like, you'll hear media word it like, oh, this is a bad cop. This one's definitely shitty. Like, it's at a gas, like, petrol state, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, I don't care if you have it in fucking Los Angeles. I don't care if you have it in fucking Gay Paris. It doesn't matter. It's still shitty. They're still going to jerk us off and try to give us something that is not going to be followed through at all. So it's just a letdown time after time after time. And that's a bummer, because at the end of the day, we're all just penguins just trying to glide through sand. And, sometimes we just got to get up and we just got to dust ourselves off. And dare I say, try again. But anyway, that's where I'll leave it for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, you can become a Patreon today. Newsy today. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials you're on. Let's see. Please subscribe to the YouTube. That really helps out. It's the road to 500. It's the road to monetization. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing's caring. Feel free to do that on any of the platforms, though. And yeah, that's where I'll leave it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.